Hi YouTubers, this is me again, and I'm doing a somewhat different reading for Samhain. I've got a spread that I found on the internet that's an interesting spread, and it's basically spelling out the word Samhain with each card, and each card has a different meaning that pertains to Samhain in this time of year. Basically, we're just looking at this ending of one cycle and the beginning of another at this point. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a different spread because this is a different time of year. So for the first card, the S, which is yourself right now, and what you're up to this time of year, is the B, or the Seven of Wands. You're finishing up a lot of spiritual, mystical, internal things right now. You're bringing things together, like they bring the pollen in from the flowers and make it into the honey for the next generation. You're bringing a lot of things in, and you're making them into other things. And like the worker bee, you really aren't looking at the whole scheme of things. You're kind of looking at your small little world. It's like, okay, I have to get the pollen, so I make the honey, so I can feed the babies and feed the rest of the colony. And that is basically the extent of your thought right now. And that's pretty much it. That's what you're doing right now. And since it's a right side up card, it's a more external, meaning that most of the world is kind of at this point right now, and it kind of makes sense since it is Samhain right now. And the next card is the ambition card, or the A card, ambition. What you would like to be for this year, what you would like to happen this year, or the person that you would like to be this year. And it is an internal card, which makes kind of a lot of sense since it's an internal want, like an internal ambition. And the ambition for this next year is the Mistress of Animals, or the Knight of Pentacles. You kind of want to move away from the bee and kind of want to take it onto a smaller scale. Maybe internally you want to take a look at methodically taking a look at your ambition, and take a look at steps you need to take for this next year. That's basically what you want to be, the kind of person you want to be right now. And your ambition for this year is to become this person that they aren't so much blind to the world around them, and they're not so focused on the daily grind. You want to become a person that can look at the bigger picture and take methodical steps, and to put really a lot of thought into your actions. You want to be that type of person, and that's your ambition for this next year, is become that person. Okay? And your motivation right now is the King of Cups, Poseidon. And Poseidon is basically all about, at least in this one, all about the cycles of life and how everything is interconnected. And that how actions that we take on a smaller scale can affect the larger scale world. Like the bee, the bee can actually affect a lot of different things with his. He has a very small world in his own mind. He is only worried about the colony, but things that colony does can affect a lot of things in the world, like pollination affects food, which affects lots of animals and lots of other creatures, such as ourselves. We're having an issue with the bees right now, so that's kind of pointing towards that interconnectedness. That's pretty much what's driving us right now, is that interconnectedness. You're moving away from looking at not the smaller picture, but you're looking away from taking care of just the colony, just what your internal cards or whatever, and you're trying to bring yourself into that, where you're not just taking care of other people that are important to you, but you're also taking care of yourself, and you're trying to balance those two worlds out, and bring changes about in one while not destroying the other. And that's kind of what the King of Cups is all about. He's standing in the center of the whirlpool. He's aware of everything in the whirlpool, and he's in control of it, of a fashion. But he's also part of it as well. Poseidon has a great many powers that he has. His trident can cause earthquakes, which can cause tsunamis. He has to take everything into consideration before he makes a decision, and that kind of points towards the Mistress of Animals, where you're taking methodical steps, you're taking a look at your decisions, and you want to be that person, and this is your motivation, that you recognize that there is a larger world out there and there's a smaller world, and you need to take both into account, and you want to take both into account. Okay, and the next card is your hopes and expectations, what you would like to achieve. And it's an odd card for hopes and wanting to achieve, but it's the Queen of Pentacles, or the White Buffalo Woman. And it's an internal card. It's not necessarily, this isn't the Death card, so it isn't necessarily about endings, but it's about putting things in their correct place. The main story that I tell about the White Buffalo Woman is she's a Native American goddess. They don't really have goddesses or gods. They view them more as animal spirits, and it's hard to describe exactly how they view them, but that's not the point. But the White Buffalo Calf Woman, her main story is her main feature is that she's about not just about endings, but that everything has its correct time and its correct place. And when you put something in its incorrect time or its incorrect place, there are consequences. The main tale that I hear about her is these two Native American warriors see her in her white calf form on the hill, and one goes up to her joyfully and inappropriately wants to touch her, and he dies because of this. Whereas the other warrior who comes up to her reverently doesn't touch her, but just comes up to her reverently and is given a gift. I can't remember what the gift is on the top of my head, but he receives a gift, saying that you did the appropriate thing, thus you are given this gift, thanks to your appropriateness. But what she's all about is putting things in the appropriate time, appropriate place. So what your hopes and dreams are is you're moving things into position. So you're taking into account everything around you, the microcosm and the macrocosm, whatever that word is, the big world and the little world, your world and the outside world. You're taking them into account, and you're putting things in their correct order. And that's what you want to do with this. You want everything to be in its correct place for you to live, and in the correct way. You want to do things correctly. And that's also another way the Mistress of Animals helps in the Knight of Pentacles, is you're learning. You want to learn how to put things in the right place. You want to learn how to look at things correctly and do things correctly and things of that nature. So those are your hopes for this coming year. And the adjustment you need to make, an area you need special attention in. It's the Page of Pentacles, and it was an internal card once again. And this is Hanuman. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but he's a trickster god, I believe, of Hindu origin. He's a monkey god, and he gets things done, but he takes a lot more fun out of everything than he probably should. Another, I don't know a lot about him, but yeah, like any trickster god, what you're looking at usually isn't the truth. There's a lot of illusion involved in him. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of trickery. Probably what you're not taking into account at this point is that you're putting things in the right place, but it doesn't always have to be such a bore. You can have fun with this. It's your life. If you're not living it and you're not having fun while you're doing it, that's something that's not in the right place. It's appropriate at some times to have fun and to laugh and to enjoy life. That's what this life is pretty much all about. You need to have fun while you're doing this, but you've also got to get things done. That's another balance issue. If you're not having fun while you're getting things done, then you're not doing it right, in my opinion. And that's what that card is telling you. That's a basic thing you need to take into account. It's also a Page of Pentacles. It's you before you go on to the Knight of Pentacles. Before you go into that stage, you need to learn this. You need to learn this basic thing, is that there's an appropriate time for fun as well as there's appropriate times for seriousness. And I think that's what this card is all about. Is well, not only fun but trickery, maybe. Not necessarily stealing or anything like that, but just using your words wisely, being a little underhanded maybe, or maybe even just putting on a show for one person while you're doing something else for the other. Distractions and things like that. Sleight of hand. There's places for that. Everything has its time and its place, basically. And it includes things that you don't have to be serious about. Okay? And the next card in this spread is going to be an idea to consider. An idea to consider. And it's kind of funny, this one comes into play because it's the one before the page as well. It's also an internal card. The Ten of Pentacles or the Rabbit. Fertility, creation. Not necessarily the rabbit is all about fertility and creation, and I'm getting the word children. Children might be an idea you want to consider. Not necessarily having children, though. Creativity, not having fun, acting like a child, maybe taking a cue from children, maybe, or just being creative right now internally. And it's also maybe, since it is an internal card, you might be considering listening to your inner child, maybe. But it's also a pentacle, so it has to be grounded in reality as well. You're taking into account your inner child, but not letting it act like a spoiled brat. Things like that. Bringing that balance again. Being in that balance and not letting it be a spoiled brat, but taking it into account. That sort of thing. And the last card is the N, and it is the Ten of Swords. The Heron, and it was internal as well, and it's this next step. The Heron looks like he's jumping into a circle of swords. He's jumping into it, but he's looking down. He's looking at it. He's coming into it from a different perspective. You're coming together for a meeting of the minds, or things like that. A meeting of the minds, maybe you're having a convention or something, or you're coming together with a group of, I wouldn't say friends, but I would say people that are of the same mind, maybe, but just coming from different perspectives. So you might be just taking other people's opinions into account. The next step probably is just to come together with some people and make some decisions based on those coming in together of ideas. So that's what our Samhain spread is today. First you got the bee, Then the Knight of Pentacles, the Mistress of Animals. And then King of Cups and Poseidon. The White Buffalo Calf Woman, the Queen of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles, the Hanuman. And the Ten of Pentacles, the Rabbits. And the Ten of Swords, the Heron. So I hope you guys have a good Samhain, and I hope you have a good Halloween or whatever you're doing this time of year. Hope you guys have fun, safe, and none of your cats get kidnapped. Okay? And you guys have a very good day. Alright. Thank you for listening.